and welcome to Glimmer of Genius episode 10. My name is Luke and I make YouTube videos. On the line with me is level 2 judge Grant David. How are you, Grant?
Hello, I'm good. I'm looking at pizzas.
Excellent. With us also is cardboard trader Simon Wright as well. You all right, Simon?
Oh, good, thank you.
Good. But before we go any further, what kind of pizza?
Well, I've got this leaflet thing through the post, and I'm looking at these deals. And I'm trying to crunch my numbers as to whether it's better if I go there and buy one get one free, or 40% off, or anything for 13. I'm not going to mention names, but there's a lot of numbers going on.
I like still getting menus to the door. I quite like it, and I always try and put them aside and keep them. And the wife just blinks them, going, "We're just going to use Just Eat anyway. Why'd you bother?"
We've never really cottoned on to the whole Just Eat thing. We're a bit behind, but I do like the old numbers game that is now ordering from certain pizza establishments, like working out the best deals. I'm all about that. Okay. On this episode today, as well as discussing various pizza, we are also going to be having a little chat about Standard, or new Standard. Touch on Frontier as well, this new non-format, but really a format, but not really, that is Frontier, and perhaps a little bit more about Hour of Devastation as well. So, before we dive into all of that, Grant, other than not playing Standard, what have you been up to in the wonderful world of Magic this week?
The only thing I've been playing, as I mentioned last time, is Modern. And I'll touch upon Frontier later. Basically, I've spent most of this week in the various multiple times at work where I've got not much to do, brewing stuff for Frontier or Modern. And after sort of much, thought and stuff, I decided to settle with a list that I don't know when it was last played. And it's not really like me just to copy a deck more or less almost exactly. It was like a black-white Eldrazi list. I don't know if I was talking about this last time with Modern at all. Was I?
This wouldn't be... no, I think we were talking about scrambled eggs before, but...
Oh, no.
This sounds like Death and Taxes.
Well, yeah, sort of. I think I've seen a version to play, but basically it has like 4 Relic of Progenitus, and then it's fuel for Wasteland Strangle as well, just being annoying. And then it has like Untitled Chapter and Eldrazi Displacers and stuff, and it just wrecks stuff with Reality Smashers and Lingering Souls, basically.
Okay.
But so it's not quite Death and Taxes, because when I saw someone playing it, I was like, flickering the Untitled Scholar is just kind of annoying. And then obviously it's got, Inquisitions and Thought Seasons. But really it's just kind of like value stuff, because you've still got the Eldrazi Temples, obviously not Ivugans. But it just seems to be like white, black, good stuff with obviously colourless for Reality Smashers and things. And Reality Smashers, I was a bit dubious as to whether they'd be as good in Modern. But when I played on Monday, they were super good.
Reality Smasher is awesome.
In Modern it's crazy because again, like people are, they've got Path and they might not have like a card for discard. It's got Haste, which isn't really a thing in Modern at all. If people are trying to use Fatal Push now that that's in Modern, again that doesn't work. I'm going to try this deck again next Monday because just the value was super good.
I get the feeling I say Reality Smasher is awesome every episode at least once.
that might be a recurring.
It seems to come up. So yeah.
I can't need a foil one. I think it'd be quite pretty.
I had a foil one once, and actually it wasn't. It was actually really bland. It was. I was really quite gutted, and I was like, "Oh, this would be worth loads." And then Magic Prices did the thing that they did, and I just got rid of it.
Yeah,
it's very weird how good some cards look in foil. I mean, you can get some dirt cheap, useless common, and the foil looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then you can get some really awesome playable card, and it just doesn't look good.
There's always one at least from each set where not always common and uncommon as well, where I look at it and go, oh, that'd be amazing in foil, and kind of want to collect it. And I remember the last one was at whatever GP it was, probably Barcelona. I just went to the box of foils and went through all of them, and I got like one of the ones I've been meaning to get rated was Glint. Do you remember that from I think Dragons or Castle Tarkir? The picture being like a Rakshasa, so the cat person, chucking gems everywhere and they're all different colours. And that in foil is amazing. I thought it was
lovely.
So did you say you'd actually been testing this deck then, this black-white deck, or was it something you were just thinking of putting together?
No, I put it together for last Monday, so that's how I played Modern, and I'm going to plan on using it next Monday and also next Thursday, because I'm really enjoying using this at the moment. And I didn't lose a single game, apart from one where I got Landscrew, basically. It just did universally well. I can't remember what I played. Fish was one of them, played against Dredge, although to be fair, the Dredge player had some other, and that's 4 or 5 each time. Then I can't remember what the second deck was, just some sort of aggro thing. But universally it was super good. And what I was kind of worried about with this deck was that, you play all these Eldrazi and stuff, and I can't remember what deck it was, but he was really high on the move. And I'd be like, Thought Not Seer, remove it, Displacer, remove it, Tiles Colour, remove it, get a card back, kind of thing. I was thinking, is it going to be one of those decks where it's got good stuff, but then you end up just top decking kind of thing? And the thing is, because you've got the hand disruption quite early on to get rid of their crazy stuff, and because like Relic of Genesis is quite annoying, and even just the card draw from it is actually, I found really, really useful. So originally I had 3, and I put an extra one in for next time I play it. There were situations where I would top deck a Lingering Souls, and by then he'd use up all his removal, and I would just kill them with spirits, or just kill them with like one little Eldrazi guy kind of thing. And overall, I just think it's just very solid. Like I said, it's just, you've got playset Path to Exiles, playset Lingering Souls, you've got all the hand disruption, and then you've got the value of the Eldrazi as well. And the Eldrazi Displacer flickering, stuff like Still Not Seer and Tiles Colour is a nice trick, but I didn't get to do it at all, and that's not what the deck's about at all either. It was just super good.
Have you got space to play in any of the deserts, or is the mana base too tight?
I was thinking about that. I haven't opened literally a single Hour of Devastation boost pack yet, but I might do. The things I have splashed for is I've put, which is deviating from the list, I've put one Endbringer in, if you remember him. The 6 mana 5/5, untaps every untapped step and like ping stuff, stop attacking, blocking, or drawing cards. That's quite cool. And I also took out like a Displacer to put in some Matter Reshapers, because I've always liked those cards, and the fact that, of course, in Modern they effectively cost 2 mana, as long as you've got the Eldrazi Temple, and also I put in a Seagate Wreckage as well.
Yes.
Because then there was a situation where that top decking was a bit painful, but actually not too bad, because I've always either had Inquisition of Souls that took flashback or Relic of Genesis, which just drew me a card, and normally that was just like enough to give me the advantage, and that was just crazy how much of an edge that gave me.
That's pretty good.
I've seen some people run, what's that Stone Brain?
Mind Stone.
That's it, yeah. I've seen people run that, and I'm tempted by that actually, because again, it's just like a little ramp thing, but you can blow it up for cards or whatever. So yeah. Again, like I said, this deck I just found really fun, really interactive, because you had all the whole process to -3, -3, and that's really good in Modern, and just good value overall. So that's kind of what I want. Not something not too crazy, so that I actually do win games, but something interactive and a bit different. I said I'm going to give this a go twice next week, and we'll talk about it after that to see if it's as good as it was the week just gone.
Nice. I know that Lingering Souls is cropping up more than perhaps it has been going a little bit further back, and that card at the moment does seem to be quite a pain for a number of decks to deal with.
I wonder why that is. I guess because obviously you've got Fatal Push is more common now, so that's more single target removal, and I guess because of like Death Shadow, again it's more single target removal, like Colorlord's Command or Terminate or whatever, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it enables you to have chump blockers for Death Shadow decks that don't have Team of Battle Rage.
Yeah, that's nice.
Even those that do have it, it's normally only like a 1 or 2 of. They have to have it, sort of thing.
Don't most of the Death Shadow decks run Team of Battle Rage?
It's kind of gone up and down. Some decks have, some decks haven't. The Grixis ones don't tend to as much. It tends to be more in the Jund one. But at the end of the day, there's no real hard and fast rule. I'm guessing it's kind of like probably comes under the sort of idea of flex slots. So like you've got a slot where you could put a Team of Battle Rage in, or if you wanted to put a different removal spell in, or an additional copy of something else that you thought was good, depending on how you think the games might line up.
Yeah. It's risky rather than stable kind of thing, yeah.
I think if Gitaxian Probe wasn't banned, they would be playing it more.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, you're right. The thing is as well, though, again, like Team of Battle Rage, not that I've had it used against me, I'm just trying to think with this deck, because it's got, you always start the game with some kind of arrow, even if it's just a Titano Scholar. I think the thing I would be taking, if I see that the opponent's got, some removal, Death Shadow, and Team of Battle Rage, I think I'm going to take Team of Battle Rage, to be fair, because I know they're going to get creatures at some point, but it's that card that's really going to win them the game.
Yeah, so I think having the chump blockers of Lingering Souls is good. Flying is also really good against Eldertron and company decks. They don't always have the flying blockers to deal with it. Obviously, Endbringer is really good against them. But it just seems to be lining up well. I know it's annoying against Affinity as well, because that's like up to 4 flying blockers to stop you from just winning out of nowhere with a cranial plating or whatever.
It was just doing things like killing... Actually, yeah, that's coming back to me now. It must have been the black deck, the aggro one with lots of removal or whatever. It was just going over the top and killing lilies whenever he dropped them. It'd, drop a lily or whatever, and you'd make me sacrifice a creature or whatever, then I'd make some spirits and just kill her either that turn or next turn. It was crazy.
especially if you go against the more sort of grindy decks, it's nice just to have that late in the game. It's all of a sudden, you know, if it's in the graveyard because you milled it there or you just cast it once already, you know, it's just good value. That's what I find quite interesting about Modern as well at the moment, because you see like really solid cards like that, which are just sort of good, but in a very kind of fair way. You've got to pay for it. It takes a few turns, and they're really good and efficient because of that. Versus decks like Storm or even just Burn. Like, you've got all these different sort of strategies at the moment, and none of them seem overly fringe. They all seem actually really quite powerful, and it's quite nice that these decks can actually interact and be powerful and kind of to have a go at doing their thing and not be too oppressed at the moment. I'm quite enjoying Modern.
It's how I see Kitchen things, kind of in a way, where you've just got this uncommon that's like, got some sort of recursion or just, you know, just good generally. And I'm kind of tempted. I kind of tried to build one of these provided gives out of like green-white creatures, like big blocks on Smiter and stuff like that. I'm kind of tempted to build a deck with just really not really expensive cards, just good value, and try and win through that. But I think that's pretty much what Amazon is really, which is ironically quite expensive. But it's an interesting idea, particularly now, as you said as well, that the way things are going, the more single target or whatever. I think that actually might be much better in the current meta with stuff that keeps coming back or just good in general.
Yeah, because even if you get these Jeskai decks, which do exist in the background, playing things like Electrolyze, it's still not very good.
No.
So, yeah, it's good. Simon, what about yourself? What have you been up to?
So we had draft day, which I was quite looking forward to. So we were running 2 extra drafts on a Sunday at the store. Unfortunately, the first draft had 13 players. So I sat out. Make sure it was like 2 pods of 6 and no buys. I'm nice like that.
Yep.
What was that?
There's a car outside my house. Not my pizza. That'll be later.
Yeah. and then the second draft I got to play. That's quite fun. I opened Samet.
Oh, nice.
But I ended up going black-green and just splashing red for her. It was all right. It was fun. Nothing too memorable, really. And that's it. So that's all I've done is one draft. We've started the league at the shop. Week 2 was yesterday. But I've been so busy at the shop, I haven't actually cracked my packs yet for the league. I'm only at the shop at the moment. I'm leaving the shop early. So I'm only there from around 5 till 8 before I have to leave. So I'm only there for 3 hours a night. So that's sort of around just enough time to get some sorting done, get cards for people. I've got a lot of people coming up to me with huge deck lists at the moment going, get me as much of this as possible, which is good. But, you know, it limits the time for play.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, quite drastically. Got Commander Day on Sunday. I need to make a few tweaks to my deck now. I've got to get the Scarab God in there and a few extra bits and pieces before that, get some multiplayer action going. And I'm also running both Games Day events in the start of August. And I might actually build a standard deck. The twins are being taken away to see their great grandma. So I have the weekend free. So I'll stay late on Friday to play the draft. And I might build a standard deck to play Saturday and Sunday.
Would you like to borrow zombies?
Oh, yeah, actually. I do like playing zombies.
Yeah. To be honest, it's still a perfectly reasonable deck. Mono black zombies is still good at doing its thing of casting zombies, etc.
Mono black, I still get colour screwed. You watch.
Now you got some really good land options now in the form of the deserts as well. Put 2/1/1 counters on stuff, so you get that for free. Pretty much, it's basically that 4 lands which are essentially colourless, but also tap for black, but they hurt you. So like you've got to be unlucky for them to be like the first 4 lands you draw, in which case your lands hurt you a lot. But even if you just put 1 or 2 in, they're still good. But yeah, I've pretty much got it. If you want to borrow it, so just let me know.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely borrow it. Are you not playing?
If it's not this weekend, the weekend after, I'll be at work.
Boo!
It's my one.
Okay, I'll pilot your deck for you and be proud.
Brilliant.
You don't get to keep the playmate if I win, though.
No, that's fine. You can have that.
Oh, you probably can. I don't want to do it. I don't need it.
Actually, I'll tell you what. If it's the awesome Hellfire, Torment of Hellfire, whatever it is, playing that, I would like that.
Well, yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? In that case, no, I'm going to flog it.
Damn. Fair enough. Cool. Myself, recently, I don't know if I mentioned this on the last podcast. I can't remember when I did it now. But I did an online PTQ for Standard.
You did mention you played. I haven't seen your videos for it yet.
Okay. Yeah, I've just uploaded like the first 6 of them. Because between that and opening boxes of Hour of Devastation, I've just had a lot of videos to edit. I've slowly uploaded them. It was quite fun, actually. In the end, I went 5-4, losing the last round. I lost, and that was like if I won that round, I might have had a chance at like top 32 got prizes. Yeah, so I just missed out on prizes.
No,
Yeah, no, it was otherwise quite satisfying. It was weird because I played against Ramp about 3 times. I played 2 control matches, played vehicles twice, and it was very early. It was like the first proper competitive tournament with Hour of Devastation, because it was released early on Magic Online, and it was really quite interesting playing it. The card Hour of Devastation was everywhere, as was Glorybringer.
Ramp. What about the green hour card?
Yeah, that was in there. Hour of Promise was in there, and that was doing work. So they played the utility deserts like Ramanut Ruins and other things, the green desert as well, and they also played the desert that exiles cards from your graveyard as a one-off, because they can basically search it with Hour of Promise. Yeah. So they've got this nice utility of removing people's graveyards if they go against control, playing 4 Gear Hulks, and also just against zombies. It can cast Ulamog's quite early. It was very scary. So it was weird. I was quite glad I was playing black-white because I had Anguished Unmakings, and I tell you, the amount of times I cast Anguished Unmaking and stopped myself from losing the game as a result was insane.
Hour of Promise is the one to look out for, because you can search 2 of any land.
Yes.
Not basic land, 2 land. So modern, you can grab 2 Eldrazi temples. So yeah, that's one to watch out for. Very, very lowly priced at the moment as well.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I've seen it most commonly used for is they basically get 2 of the Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. They ramp, cast an Hour of Promise quite early because they've ramped, get 2 Shrine of the Forsaken Gods, and obviously this is ahead of turn 5, or this is on turn 5 if they've cast the Hour of Promise on turn 4 because they ramped. So it can do some silly things, and it was quite interesting to play against that. I had quite a good game against that one though, because it did Durdle sometimes. But yeah, no, it was very interesting. I threw one game against Mardu Vehicles just because I completely just didn't do the maths. I made the mistake and played something else I shouldn't have done. And then, as I was then doing what I thought was the right thing to do, immediately afterwards, I was like, well, this was just stupid. And just, basically then lost the game in a really convoluted way and just shouldn't have done. That was frustrating. Beyond that, that was the worst thing I did. Beyond that, the games are really quite good. It's really interesting. Standard seems very, very interesting at the moment, very open, as I say. I've been testing Affinity as well for Modern in preparation for the GP, having some fun with that. Still can't decide 100% on the sideboard. That's quite an interesting experience as well, just trying to work out Affinity and nuances of certain matchups and stuff.
Ooh.
The one thing I have seen at the moment, as I say, with Standard, is a variety of different decks, and part of my plan today was to try and tempt Grant back into playing Standard with some awesome decks. Now, I'm going to assume that you haven't been keeping up with Standard at all.
No, not at all.
Okay, this is going to be much better than I thought it was going to be.
I like the secretive of it all.
Yeah. So, first of all, start something you probably know, probably something you've seen, and you'll be like, yeah, whatever, I know this exists. We all knew Cat Tribal was going to be a thing.
Yay!
But here is a list I found on MTG Goldfish. I don't know if it's come through or not.
Yeah, just go mine now.
Nice
hang on, it's got a Felidor Guardian in it.
What? Oh, is this really old?
Why is there a Felidor Guardian? April 23.
I really like this still.
It's just got all the cats. There's many cats. It's got Amonkhet cats in there.
Damn, maybe I found the wrong one then. I must have got confused. Damn. I'll find a better cat list at some point.
Well, what's the next list to get Grant into Standard?
Okay. So, cat.
Aetherworks Marvel.
Yeah. Okay. Next one I found, I think you're probably going to hate.
Come play this deck, you'll hate it.
So this is five colour Planeswalkers.
Get back into Standard. Oh, I hate that.
I've seen this kind of thing before.
This is a bit less kind of cute.
Oh, it's got energy. That's cool.
Yeah. So basically, what someone's done, this placed quite highly in this SCG event, and they've more or less taken, and this is up to date. This has got Hour of Devastation cards in it. I must have got confused with the other link on that one. So sorry about the cats, but this one, yeah, plays quite well, and it's essentially the Teamer monsters kind of deck that we've seen before with things like Bristling Hydra. So it's got 2 Bristling Hydra, 2 Glorybringer, 4 Long Tusk Cub. So it's even got cats in it. 3 Rogue Refiner, 4 Servant of the Conduit, 2 Tireless Tracker, a Word of Virtuoso, and then a few removal spells with Harness Lightning, Magma Spray, and Abrade, and then just 7 Planeswalkers. So Chandra Flamecaller, so the 6 mana Chandra, 3 4-mana Chandra, Torch to Defiance, and Hiri, and then 2 Nicol Bolas, God-Pharoh. just for maximum Planeswalker silliness. Only plays 20 lands, but it is playing 4 Oath of Nissa and 4 Attune with Ether. But I thought this was quite cool. Very mid-rangey.
Yes, I like this. Also, can we talk about Brave just briefly? This one skipped me by, but that is like probably the best uncommon I've seen in quite a while. Braid seems like modern playable.
Yeah, from my perspective, $2 common, $2 uncommon is what I'm always looking at a new set.
So they are, they are up in value as well.
Yeah, I think they're going up. I think they're $2.50 at the moment.
Oh, look nice in foil actually, because that little rainbow shimmer thing on the picture that would be quite nice in foil.
That would.
Yeah, this one's nice.
Just wait for the FNM promo.
Oh, is there an FNM promo for it?
Oh, actually, I think there is actually. Oh no, a Games Day promo.
Ah, okay, cool.
I was about to say, I thought that was a cruel joke there about FNM promos, considering
it was going to be. Yeah. But no, there is one. It won't be foil though, actually, will it? No, it won't be foil.
Yeah, well, full art either way.
So yeah, a Braid very much doing its thing. I think a lot of decks are actually playing that in the main, having it in the sideboard as well. It's very good for what it does. Nice to have the choices. But yeah, what do you think of this one, Planeswalkers?
Yeah, it's good. I wouldn't mind playing this kind of one. It's not enough to get back in sad.
What?
Damn. Okay then, what about...
You've really gone out of your way to get Grant back into standard.
I have.
You don't try like this with me. Oh, here's my zombie deck I've been using for the last few months. That would do for you.
But no offense, Simon, but it was low-hanging fruit. You like the zombies. It's just easy.
True.
This is a deck after my own heart, and there are actually 2 versions of this. Again, I'll stick a link to this one in the show notes. It's mono red aggro. It did first place at a SCG Classic on the 23rd of July, so very recently. Same event as the one in the Team of Planeswalkers. So it's a big deal, and it basically plays all of the red 1-drops. I think cards don't even have to be good to be in this deck. So you've got 4 Bomat Curia, you've got 4 Falcon Wrath Gorger, which is the 2/1 vampire, which gives other vampires in your hand madness. So it's literally just played because it's a 2/1. And then you have 4 Village Messenger. It's the 1/1 hasty werewolf at the beginning of each upkeep. If no spells were cast last turn, you can flip it and it becomes a 2/2 with, I don't think, any other relevant ability. Or maybe Menace.
Yeah,
Menace. And then you've got 2 Earthshaker Kenra, which is the 2/1 with haste. When it enters the battlefield, target creature with power less than or equal to Earthshaker Kenra's power can't block this turn. So he makes the creature not able to block when he comes down, and you eternalize it for 6 mana, and he comes back as a 4/4. So then you've got haste as a 4/4, and then anything with power 4 or less can't block it as well. So he's good early and he's good late as well. And then also at 2, you've got Kari Zev, Skyship Raider, which is the 2 mana 1/3 from
Legendary Monkey.
Yeah. So you get your your legendary. What was his name again? Ragavan. Yeah.
How can you forget? You've done literally a whole video on its token.
I do like that. I've got that token somewhere. I don't know where it's gone. One thing that I really like is Arncrop Crasher, which is the 3/2 hasty Minotaur for 3. As it attacks, you can exert it. If you do, target creature can't block. So you basically flood the board with 1/1s, 2/1s or 1/1s of Bomat Curia, lots of 1-drops and 2-drops, and then you just force them through with all these effects that not make them able to block. It's rounded out with a couple of Reckless Bushwhackers, the one that you can surge and pump your guys. 2 Hazarets, which is very good because this deck is very much emptying its hands. So more often than not, Hazaret will actually be a 5/4 indestructible haste.
The Falcon Wrath Gorge is just in there as a 2/1 for 1, isn't it? There's no other vampires in the deck.
Same as Dragon Hunter needs to be run in the White Weenie deck just because it's a 2/1.
Yeah. No, very nice. What I like the most is in the sideboard is Oakham Firebird. So we've got a Phoenix has made its way back into standard.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's weird.
4 mana, 3/3 flying with haste, attacks each turn if able. But the best bit is, I guess it's against control decks. It's landfall. Whenever a land is the battlefield under your control, you may pay 6. If you do, return it to the grave from the graveyard to the battlefield.
It's a nice idea. Clever.
That is pretty decent.
Yeah. I miss Red. Red deck used to always run a Phoenix. Yeah. It used to be a 3 mana 2/2 though. I can't remember its name. Chargers Phoenix.
Yeah.
It
was Chargers Phoenix.
There's the other one as well, with the ferocious one that comes back.
Yeah. So I miss them running Phoenixes. So yeah, it's quite nice to see rise from the ashes.
Hey. And then the other card it's got is just some burn. So it's got Shock, Collective Defiance, which is a 3-mana sorcery, which I love that card. 4 damage to target creature, 3 damage to target opponent, escalate 1 mana. Incendiary Flow, and then Cartouche of Zeal for, again, more you can't block shenanigans. I mean, obviously this guy did very well with it, but this is very all-in, and the Cartouche is pretty much just like all about that strategy. And so between the Cartouche and Arncop Crasher and Earthshaker Kenra, you've got quite a lot of ways to not let them block. You just go wide as well. The other cool thing about this as well is there's actually 2 versions of Mono Red, and the second version leans heavily, I don't know if you noticed the land base of this, so it's got 21 lands, 13 mountains, 4 Sun-Scorched Deserts, so it's the colourless land that does 1 damage to target player when it enters the battlefield, and Ramunap Ruins, so that is the land that creates wastes, or you pay 1 life to add red to your mana pool, and also has 4 mana, tap, sacrifice a desert, Ramunap Ruins deals 2 damage to each opponent.
Oh, it's not even sacrifice itself.
No.
Burn the land.
Sacrifice of the desert.
You can
8
sacrifice
sources of burn using just land.
other deserts. So yeah,
That's
it's
a lot
insane.
of burn.
It is. You look at it and you think, oh, there's not that many, because some of these decks aren't always playing it. And the second version of this deck as well, which before I forget, also plays that land base and has a little bit less burn and is going a bit more kind of like mid-rangey. It runs Thought-Knot Seers, Reality Smashers, Glory Bringers, and Chandra, Tortured Defiance, all in the main deck. A lot less of the crappier 1-drops, so like it doesn't play Bomat Courier, and it drops a couple of other things.
Messenger.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. And just kind of goes on a bigger. And yeah, the deck is just insane. Like the amount of damage you can do off of your lands, and then obviously like just casting Glory Bringers and Reality
That's
Smashers.
madness. You turn your Sun-Scorched Deserts into lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Well, more mana, but...
But the sick thing about it is, I had someone, like these lands are great. I know we probably shouldn't have them in this format because of the whole weird rotation and stuff, but with cards like Thought-Knot Seer and Reality Smasher, what you have is a dual land, which isn't always a pain land, but comes in untapped and has this really relevant ability in your deck as well, late in the game. Like, so
that's a really good point, actually, isn't it? Should they have been with with the Eldrazi?
Probably. So yeah, this little bleed over and these 2 combinations of cards, you're actually seeing some pretty interesting results.
Wait, say that bit again?
So, with the change in the rotation schedule, should these deserts be in standard along with the Eldrazi? And I think the answer is no, they weren't supposed to be. The card would have rotated out by now. Yeah. So yeah, we're getting these 2 interactions.
Yeah,
straight. Oh, very interesting.
I like this.
Yeah, I like it. They don't have to run as much. They can play more creatures and not have to worry about running as many burn spells. They've got it built into their land base.
Which is sweet. Which is why I really like the mid-range
I like
version.
How they're playing 21 lands, which is a lot for red aggro.
Yeah.
But we can play more lands because there are burn spells, so we want to draw them more often.
Yeah. I played against this online in a league. I was sitting there and I was very, very low life total. And they had 1 creature on the board and I had a couple of blockers or whatever. And I was sitting there thinking, oh god, he's got the Ramunap Ruins. I really hope he doesn't draw land, because he just burns me and I can't do anything about it. Whereas normally you'd be like, oh, I'll draw land and then you can't do anything.
Yeah. That's good.
I was just sitting there like, oh god.
I want to play some online leagues. I think that's the only time I'm going to get to play Magic a lot at the moment. Is a bit online, just in my free time when I ever have any. I think I might just put this together. What's this going to cost? Like 20 tickets?
It's going to cost you virtually nothing. Really, really cheap. And it's fun. It really is fun as well. Like I've always liked Mono Red, and it's just great to do stuff like this.
Or is it you can just go to one of the online stores, can't you? Can you go to MTG Goldfish or something to just buy me this list?
You can do stuff like that. I think that MTG Goldfish might have a bot, so you buy it there and then you just go to the bot or whatever, and then it will just give you that. I use a thing called Mana Traders, so you pay a set amount a month, and I'm allowed up to $285 worth of whatever I want, and then so I go online, I go onto the site, and I say I want this deck, all these cards, but I say okay, I don't want to play this. I'm going to play the Eldrazi version, so I'll just minus a couple of the crappy creatures, add in a couple of my own creatures with Thought-Knot Seer, and go right, yeah, I got one. It's my 75 card deck. I'm happy with that. I hit rent. And then it says, okay, you've ordered these, go to one of our bots, you pick up all the cards, and then I jump into a league with all my cards, obviously build the deck in the MTGO client as well, play a league, and then when the league's done, I then go back to the bot, give all the cards back, and that's it.
So you pay a monthly fee, you can just take up to $285 worth of cards and just borrow them and then give them back.
Yep.
How much do you pay a month?
It's quite expensive. It's $35 a month.
Oh, yeah. But I guess you can do that as much. No, you can only do up to $285 worth.
Yes, but
what if your deck's worth more than $285?
Haha. So I've bought.
So I've never heard of this thing. I've never heard of this before.
No, it's really good. It is very expensive, but my justification for this was I looked online for Gideons and they were like almost like $10, $15 a card. I'm like, right, yeah. So I'm going to buy 4 Gideons for this black-white zombie deck, and then it might not even be good. So if I buy 4 Gideon, then I'm already more than 1 month worth of renting into buying this deck, and then I've got to buy the rest of the zombie deck as well, and then I've just got 1 deck.
What happens if you don't return the cards?
Break your kneecaps.
Yeah. I've signed up.
I guess it's not Wizards that are renting you the cards.
No, it's an external site. It is an external site, and I pay through PayPal, but they might have the ability via PayPal to charge me for what I've done. But then equally, if I try and rip them off, they might just say, okay, we'll just ban this person and never let them back in.
Yeah.
I think realistically, the way it kind of works is the more you use it, the more they let you borrow. So I started off only allowed $250, and then each month, because I'm doing what they want me to do, so it goes up.
Yeah,
goes up.
Yeah. So is that $250 a month, or is that $250 at a time?
The $250 number is like a library card limit, so I can take out $250 worth of stuff or 100 cards
at a time. And then if you return them, your limit goes back up.
Yes. So
that's really good.
It's really nice because I basically said, so I could go and say, right, I want to play one of red, rent it, play, and then think, well, that deck was garbage, and then just send it back. And what's nice about it is I haven't got the natural kind of. There are some people who have got more time on their hands to buy and sell cards and make money on them online and stuff like that. I haven't got the interest or the time to do that. So if I bought, going back to the Gideon example, if I bought Gideon for the black-white zombies and then it rotates out, obviously Gideon value takes a hit, probably won't ever go back up because it will be maybe 1 or 2 decks in Modern, if at all. And then I've basically wasted a lot of that money. I haven't really got anything to show for it. Granted, when you're renting the cards, you aren't having anything at all to show for it. But the theory of this is, if I'm able to do relatively well and get things from events and win from events, then that's nice, because obviously when I want to play leagues and I want to play competitive events, so if I can get some sort of prizes back, it mitigates the sort of cost of entry and that sort of thing. And at the end of the day, I'm willing to pay some amount of money for my hobby, and I want to play more. And online is really useful, like you said. Online is probably going to be one of the few times you'll get to play, so it's nice to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm all invested in finance on paper Magic. I don't have time to do it for online Magic as well. And if I did want to play, I wouldn't have time as yourself to get to search the box, get the best price for the decks, and then sell it off again. So maybe paying a bit each month is the way to go.
Yeah.
The only problem is I prefer playing limited. Can I borrow a draft pool?
No. But what you could do is you could create an account and say, I want to do this. I fancy playing Sim Constructed for a month. So, like, if you really like the look of this aggro deck, you could pay your $35, rent the deck, jam a few leagues with it, maybe get a few tickets, or points from grinding a few little leagues, because you'll win leagues with this. You might not win many leagues, but because of the nature of this deck, you will do reasonably well with it. And then use those Planeswalker points, or whatever they're called, in a draft. You could do it that way, but then only have paid for 1 month's worth of stuff. So you don't have to sign up for any length of time. You can just do it for a month and then cancel it, and you've got your month worth of stuff, which has bought you up some tickets that you've won using this Moira Red deck. So it's nice.
I'll keep that in mind. I guess it'll be me keeping up to date with standards, so I could justify it as a business expense.
Exactly.
I can see that being really useful. Actually, it's a neat idea. It's kind of, well, like you said, it's kind of complicated to explain, kind of thing. But when you go into the details of why people want to do it, it seems like a really good service.
So yeah, a bit of a tangent on the renting thing, but
It was good though. I learned something new.
Yeah, no, it's. I think Grant summed it up nicely there. It depends on what you need that sort of thing for, and it really does kind of tick a lot of boxes for me. It basically has allowed me to, because you're talking about cost of stuff, it's allowed me to playtest Affinity online, which is fantastic because that deck, even online, would have been ridiculous to buy. So it's really good from that point of view.
What's the name of the company?
Mana Traders.
Mana Traders.
I think they're like.
I probably can't afford to do it. We went to bloody showroom today to upgrade our car because of course we need a bigger one because of the bloody twins. So I probably can't afford. Yeah, think about it. I probably can't afford an extra $30 on Magic Online.
But it's not going away. It's a good thing to think about for the future.
Yeah, it sounds good.
It is good. Final deck then, Grant.
You've got him another deck.
I've got another deck.
Oh wow!
There is a reason.
I was already sold with his red deck. To be fair, I love format Corrin. And then when it was red, mono red aggro, I was like, it's a bit boring because I remember like the data round master and stuff. But I played a deck similar to this because it had that dragon, the 4-mana dragon from Kaladesh and like Gorgia and stuff. But I've always loved it for its messenger, but just it's kind of difficult to justify unless you're super aggressive. And Carrie's Ev was super fun, and just that was going to be a bit, and then I saw they had collected fights and the land explosion thing, and I do really like this.
Land explosion. That is good though, because it is basically that. I'm glad you're enjoying the mono red. This is something like poles apart. So I played against this in a league, and I basically was like, "What is this fringe garbage? What is this? This is just." And I was like raging, and I think I won in the end, just about.
Oh, I know what it is though. I heard about this deck the other day. Yes, I can just make out the cards.
That's
I'll just
cool.
look at closer at the screen.
What is that Gate of the Afterlife doing there?
So this.
I don't understand what's going on.
Was that God-Pharaoh's gift?
You may well ask, Grant. You may well ask. So this is playing. It's basically a blue-white deck. So it's got all the blue-white lands, a couple of the cycling lands, and it's also running the desert that makes wastes and mills you as well. You can sacrifice a desert and then use that to mill.
Yeah.
It's playing Gate to the Afterlife, which is the 3-mana artifact that you can then spend mana, tap it, sacrifice it, search your deck or your library or your graveyard for God-Pharaoh's gift. So that's what that's doing there. So it is a God-Pharaoh's gift. The God-Pharaoh's gift, for those that don't know, it's a 7-mana artifact, so you can cast it naturally if you stayed alive long enough, or you can put it into the battlefield with Gate to the Afterlife. It says at the beginning of your combat, I think, you get to put into play, you get to eternalize for free, exile a card from your graveyard,
I see.
put it into play, and it has haste, and
It's a 4/4 zombie.
as well as being a 4/4 zombie.
Yeah, I had great success with it at the pre-release.
Yes. So it plays 4 Thraben Inspector, 3 Mausoleum Wanderer, which is the 1-mana spirit, sacrifice it, counter a non-creature spell equal to its power or whatever. Which at first you think, well, that's ridiculous. But if you've eternalized that and it's now a 4/4, then that's quite cool. Minister of Inquiries, which is the 1-mana guy that mills. Strategic Planning, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. Champion of Wits, this is the 2/1 for 3, which when it enters the battlefield, you draw cards equal to its power. Once you've done that, you then discard 2 cards.
Okay.
And it's got Eternalize for 6 mana as well. But again, if that comes back, you're drawing 4 and discarding 2. And then you've got Angel of Inventions, which is the 2/1 with, what's that ability where you can...
Fabricate.
Fabricate, yeah. So you can make servos or give it more power. And it's Flying Vigilance, Lifelink, and it gives all your creatures +1/+1. So it's a glorious anthem on a flyer. And then you've got...
Awesome card.
It is really good. And Cataclysmic Gearhulk, which is the 5-mana kind of like almost restore balance kind of effect. When it enters the battlefield, you choose an artifact, a creature, and some other stuff to keep alive. Everything else dies. And this basically this very deck won an online PTQ standard. And
Yes.
when I was playing against it, it's got 4 Refurbish as well, which is 4 mana. Put target artifact from the graveyard to the battlefield. So if you've milled a God-Pharaoh's gift with strategic planning or any of the other ways you can mill, you can just play 4 mana and get the God-Pharaoh's gift just straight away.
What on earth is going on?
you can get your gear hold back if need be to wrap the board again.
Oh yes, I've missed that, Simon. That's awesome.
What is going on with the sideboard? What is that card?
Look at the side. The sideboard's awesome.
Why is Void Winner? Why is there three Void Winners in the sideboard? What is going on?
I don't know. I don't know about Void Winners. That
Literally can't even.
Can't even. Is that for the mirror? Does that?
The mirror. What's mirror?
I don't know.
What is this deck called?
Blue White God Gift or something. God-Pharoh's Gift.
Okay.
It's really good because and it's a reason the Angel, what's it called again?
Angel of Invention.
Yeah, it's such a good card. It's been like $1 mythic for ever.
Yeah.
And it's finally shot up to $10 because of this deck.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'll find a link to this because all I've got is a picture of it at the moment. But I'll find a link to an equivalent deck if I can't find the exact 75.
I've got one link, so I'm trying to copy it into my Snapchat account. There you go.
So does this appeal to you as well, does it?
Yeah, in an entirely different way, just because I've always wanted to make Ancient Invention good, and I think Refurbish is broken, and I was really disappointed with God-Pharoh's Gift, but given that this is apparently how you play it, I like this.
Yay, grants back in standard. I guess you just keep playing Gearhold to keep yourself alive until you can combo off with not combo off, but get the value out of the God-Pharoh's Gift.
I mean, you've got Minister of Inquiries and Mausoleum Wanderer as well, which is and Thraven into Extraction, to be fair, for just little cheap guys as well. That's fine. Champion of Wits you can just chuck away as well, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Fraving Inspector comes back as a 4/4 with a clue.
It's hilarious.
The clue is a 4/4.
It's quite funny because your reaction towards this deck was exactly mine. You kind of you start picking it apart and think this is just awful. What is this person even doing? Then a God-Pharoh's Gift is in play, and then everything changes, and you're like, uh-oh, I'm going to be dead in 2 turns if I don't do something about this. Non-exiling removal against them is just awful. It's just it's really nice little deck. The only bad thing about this is they have now finally printed a good anti-graveyard card in the form of Crook of Condemnation. It's like a more expensive Relic of Progenitus. I had that boarded in against me playing zombies, and that was very annoying. It's nice that if decks like this exist, and they're quite hard to do stuff about, having something like Crook of Condemnation in any sideboard, just to be able to kind of fight it in a meaningful way, is nice.
Can you put 2 in your sideboard, please?
I don't own any, so...
What is it? Is it uncommon?
Oh, yeah, you've probably got loads.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's easy. Same with the Desert Tree, you've probably got loads of them. But yeah, that's it. That's all I had to try and woo you back into Standard. And the other twofold reason for doing this is I kind of wanted to show how Standard has been greatly impacted by Hour of Devastation. Moving forward, Standard's going to be great fun.
Excellent. Good news. Not just the Amazing Dinosaur Pirates coming, also this.
This is just a little thing to bridge awesomeness to bridge the gap before pirate awesomeness. So yeah.
And great token promos.
Oh, let's not forget them. Yes.
That was just the worst. That was just a whole list of really bad announcements in one announcement. It was really. I was reading the thing, getting more and more depressed.
Just at the end, it says your STD test is also positive. God damn it! More bad news.
Oh, it was not great. So this is obviously referring to the loss of FNM promos. Is it past Fatal Push is the last promo, isn't it? September.
I think so. Yeah. You're not losing FNM promos; they're just becoming tokens because everyone loves tokens.
There was one good token that time, so they're taking that to mean everyone wants tokens. It's just print better promos. End of. So what was the next thing on the list? Simon, did you have anything to mention regarding Hour of Devastation? Anything interesting finance-wise?
No, not really.
Okay.
We've got Crested Sunmere going up.
Is that the horse?
And Nicol Bolas is holding steady. I'm not sure why Crested Sunmere is going up. I don't know. It's because of all the bloody shitty bronies out there.
What's God?
That's all I can think of really. But then saying that, what's the blue-white planeswalker?
David Barn.
Yeah, he's creeping up a bit as well, and of course his second ability is -1, gain 2 life. So I don't know if there's a blue-white control deck out there playing horses.
Oh, there was someone basically played this weird control deck with a lot of 1 and 2 ofs. It had like 1 Torrential Gearhulk, and 2 Dovin Barnes. It was basically Jeskai and then splashing black for Bolas.
Yeah.
And the only way is for black in the deck.
Dreadful.
I purposely haven't shown you this deck. It had 4 Ether Hub and 1 Fetid Pools as its only way to cast Nico Bolas. And then all the counter spells and like draw spells and cycling with Censor and all that crap. Because the game is going to grind on long enough that eventually it will draw one of its 5 ways to cast Nico Bolas. It's just everything about it seemed miserable, but it did really well. It's a good, it's a good deck. It's just that's probably why Dovin Barnes seen a little spike, because he did make an appearance, and I think it was a first place deck as well in some SCG event maybe. Don't quite remember.
The only other Arrow Devastation cards that are seeing action are price wise are Champion of Wits. Fraying Sanity saw a big increase as well for mill fans, and Hour of Devastation as well. The deal 5 damage to each creature and each non-Bolos Planeswalker.
Yeah.
And the creatures losing indestructibility as well, so it's a very good card for control to after if they've got partial counter spells to raff the board and start again. Apart from that, I mean, with Hour of Devastation and Amonkhet, prices will continue to go down. The packs will still be opened until late September, and it won't be until we've got PPTQ this weekend actually. So keep an eye out. Anything that features in the top 8 will see a rise. More so, I would focus more on Aether Revolt and Kaladesh cards, because they're not being opened anymore, and they're still in standard for a whole 18 months.
Okay.
16 months. So those are the ones you want to look out for. So such as we just had the outbreak with the Angel. It's stuff like that you want to look for. The $1, $2 rares that have been open to oblivion for 2 months, 2 years, and now it's their chance to shine.
Yeah.
I mean, Walking Ballista's still quite high up there, but I'd put that as making another appearance. Your Henny's Expertise, if there's a black control deck, it's $1, which get -3/-3 turn the turn. You may cast a card for the mana cost for your less from your hand. Stuff like that. So yeah, that's the set I would look at. Aether Revolt and Kaladesh for possible breakout cards. The Gearhulks and all the Planeswalkers are really cheap. Apart from Challenger, Torch of Defiance, all the Planeswalkers are really cheap. I mean, at the moment, Ajani and Tezzeret from Aether Revolt are cheaper than the dual deck, their dual deck equivalents.
What?
So yeah, take what you want from that.
That's
but these are good cards. I don't know Tezzeret. I think if he was going to break out, he would have had his chance already.
Yeah.
Just because he's so artifact committed. But Ajani, always a fan favourite.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of mythics, $1, $2 mythics in those sets that if they break out, you're looking to quadruple or more your money on those. Demon of Dark Schemes, Luke's favourite.
I do like a Demon of Dark Schemes.
91 cents.
Wow.
And these cards aren't going to be opened anymore, so yeah.
No, I like it. That's a good shout. That is good. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly pause. Probably just finish up with Grant's deck du jour.
Yes.
So, Grant, what have you got for us this week?
I mentioned at the beginning that basically Shop is doing a Frontier event every other week. And when the format was announced, I was like, oh, this is cool. And everyone was like, it's not going to be a thing. I was like, well, given that it's an eternal format, it's literally only a matter of time. So, say we were having this conversation in 5 years' time, it's definitely going to be a thing. Same as Extended turn into Modern Slate. It's just whether it's going to be viable or not, basically. So, half the reason why I want to go to this thing in esports is because I want to support it so that Frontier events can start firing regularly. And basically, I was looking at what I wanted to do for it. So I had a look online, mostly only MTG Golf, which has stuff on it. But I was kind of looking to see what decks people have made. And it was basically a choice between using decks that I really had fun with in Standard, and obviously just adding cards that are either older or newer to make it better, or basically, emulating what the good decks, as it were, people have come up with. So, actually, no, and there's a third method as well that I've trying to be brainstorming, which basically I've been looking up either cards that were broken or cards that are banned, like Smuggler's Copter, and just going, well, this is a good card. There is no ban list for this. Let's just run it because it's good, kind of thing. Or, like Siege Rhino was a good card. Let's just run it around that or whatever. So basically, doing some summaries, again, if you just literally type in Frontier decks, you'll get a couple of pages from MTGO Goldfish. And there was some sort of Frontier season. It's called Frontier Season 1. I don't know if there's been another one since, but that was in February. And basically, just to run through quickly, the one that won was Hardened Scales. So if you remember that as a deck, and then you just add, obviously, Walking Ballista and Hangback Walker, you'll probably get, and plus the Snake as well. You'll get an idea as to why that's a good deck.
Yeah.
There was some Jeskai Tokens decks. There was a Mono Black Eldrazi list, which I'm going to talk about later, because I think I might play this. There's a Naya Walker's list, and there was a Prowess list, and those were the ones that were top 8. Also, another article, or list, shall I say, on MTGO Goldfish, which just got a list of decks people have built. You can click on and stuff. And obviously there's stuff that's unsurprising, like Saheeli Combo, Mono Red, Aetherworks Marvel, more Saheeli Combo, some Jeskai stuff, like a band list that runs Collected Company. Then there's some slightly more cool ones, like it runs Panharmonicon, and then it wins using stuff like Call of Calling to look up, or if you just want to play regularly, stuff like Shaman of the Pack, which is that they lose life equal to the number of elves you control, so the deck is full of elves. And also Siege Rhino. So you run Siege Rhino, Shaman of the Pack, Panharmonicon maybe, and then you can cord them if you need them, and you just do that. That was quite nice. I was thinking about playing that one. There's a Starfield of Nyx deck, which I really enjoy playing as well, which is quite funny. Basically, there seems to be quite a good selection. There's a few decks running, obviously, Jace, Spin Prodigy, and all that sort of business. But overall, it's not just like all Smuggler's Copter or whatever. Talking about Smuggler's Copter, though, of course, there is one play that people are doing, which is basically using Insult Artifact with Smuggler's Copter. Because, of course, it makes it a 5/5 flyer constantly, but then obviously has the loot ability. And then you can combine it with stuff like Hangback Walker. So, say Hangback Walker's a 3/3, you put Insult Artifact, it becomes an 8/8 on it. You can then run Shrapnel Blast, blow up your Hangback Walker, do 5 damage to their face, make some Thopters, that kind of thing. So, the Insult Artifact Smuggler's Copter thing is something I was thinking about, because, artifacts over any kind of given period are generally quite strong. And as I said today, I was a bit indecisive about whether I wanted to play today, and I still haven't really decided what I want to play. And I'm still kind of torn, because there's a few decks I used to play in Sam that I really enjoyed. One of them was Villainous Wealth, which I can't run, unfortunately, because although Villainous Wealth is Frontier playable, you can't run Dictate of Karametra, which is a double mana thing for 5, which is what made the whole deck explode. So I'm really sad, because it's literally my favourite deck ever. But
why can't you run that?
Because it's from Theros.
When does Frontier run from?
N15, and then
N15.
cast. So it's literally the set for, unfortunately. But the other one I quite like doing was, which I want to talk about more in detail, I called it Naya Tempest. I don't know if it was ever played anywhere else. But basically it ran Dragon Tempest. I don't know if you two are familiar with that one at all.
Nope.
Is that the one that gives stuff haste?
Yeah, so it's red and 1 for the enchantment. Whenever a creature would fly into the battlefield, it gets hasted to end the turn. So not just dragons, it works with stuff. But the main reason you run it is the second ability, which is whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control.
Yeah.
So, say you have, 2 Thunderbreak Regions, you play a third one, does 3 damage, it seems quite nice. But you combine that with a card which is called Descent of the Dragons, which is basically destroy as many creatures as you want. You can destroy the opponents if you want to, you're not going to want to though. But for each creature destroyed, you get a 4/4 dragon.
Yeah.
Given that this happens simultaneously, all you need is 4 or 5 creatures on the field for this to resolve, and then basically you get, whatever that number is squared, so either 16 or 25 damage, and then though that many dragons hasty in the air.
And then Panharmonicon to double it all.
You could do that. Yeah. But to give you an example, I once played this at an F&M. Nothing crazy. My opponent wasn't an idiot or whatever. But I managed to get 2 Dragon Tempests out quite early, because you do like turn 2, turn 3. I also had like a Nissa out, so she was making tokens. Then turn turn 6, just smacked down the centre dragons. I blew up some plants and some soldiers and stuff, and it did 2 instances of 25 damage to 50. And then if they would have been still alive, I would have hit them for 20 in the air. Wow. So I really like it. The way the deck functions is basically you run Nissa, you run stuff like Blister Pod, Hangback Walker, Pia and Kirin Nalar, just the stuff to make tokens. And then you can run things like Cryptolith Right, so it means all your guys become mana dorks. And runs like Thopter Engineer, so your Thopters or whatever have haste, so you can tap the mana sooner and things. And it also runs, lastly, Secure the Wastes, which was super strong, because even if you don't have the Descent of Dragons, you could just go, oh, okay, I've got 5 guys. At the end of turn, I'll tap my 5 guys, plus the mana I've got spare, make like 11 soldiers to hit you with those, or, of course, you can make 2 or 3 effectively as ramp to then get to the Descent of Dragons quicker, which then kills your soldiers to make more dragons to kill them. So it's an interesting deck. It also has like a one of Ataka's, a Dragon Lord Ataka, Dragon Lord Jamoka, just because they're a bit nice. And it also used to run Nahiri, which we used to have a couple of Dragon Lords with. But although I'm making this deck sound amazing, I really do like it. Doing sort of test hands with it and kind of just, looking at how it runs. It's 3 colours. The land base is a bit sketchy because although you've got fetches, you have to run sort of tangos and the colours are a bit all over the place because this is double green. And basically I need to go away and have a think about what I want to do with it. And my thoughts so far is, although just Secure the Waste is quite cool and this is quite good because she makes tokens, my thoughts are almost change it to mono red and basically have like a goblin token generator, find some other way to get mana, probably Charm of Torch Defiance actually, and then just eat the goblins, make dragons and kill them with that, and I can just main deck stuff like Thunderbat Regent, so even if I don't get the combo card, I can still just have good dragons in the deck, but again, I'm not sure what I want to do yet.
That makes sense. I was just about to say you could play things like Hordling Outburst or whatever, and that would probably...
You've also got a Dragon Lord Servant, the 2 mana 1/3 goblin, makes dragons cost 1 less as well.
Nice.
And I was just thinking of running stuff like, even like that, there's not that many dragons you can run. You can also, if you're insane, run Crucible of Fire, that enchantment that gives all dragons +3/+3.
Oh, yeah.
Which I might do just because it's stupid.
Was that an M15?
M15, yeah. Interesting story about Crucible of Fire. Because M15 had no dragons at all or anything even vaguely close to it. When I was doing a booster draft of M15, it was the last pick because it was entirely pointless despite it being a rare.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I might run that just silly with the dragons because there's not that many of them. I'm tempted almost to run, the Surge Dragon, the one that costs 7. But if you surge it, it costs 5 and it's a 5/3 with flying, and I think it does a bolt to something when it comes in or something. Yeah, so I'm going to go away, have a look at this deck, and although I really like the 3 colours, I think it was okay at the time. But I think looking at these lists, and again, that's why I was tempted to go today, just to see how quick these decks are. Looking at the things with, super quick +1/+1 counter decks, which used to be quick enough already, plus like Smuggler's Copter and so Artifact and stuff, I'm a bit scared it's going to be a bit too slow. So I'm going to go away, brew it, and then try again in 2 weeks, I think.
Can I ask, right, you said you're quite keen on Frontier and you want to show support for it,
yes.
Make sure it becomes a format. What are your reasons for that?
Because I think one of the reasons I left Standards, as I said, was because I didn't like the format in its current state. The other reason is I don't really like formats where you have to keep buying new cards. And I think with Eternal formats, the only choice you literally have as a normal person is Modern. And that can go through some awkward times. And Legacy I kind of want to play. But not because it has any kind of intrinsic value or it means anything to me, because I literally started playing in 8th edition, so Modern is my generation. I don't want to play Legacy because of the time it's been about, unlike some people. I just want to play it because it's a different format. And I think with Modern, it's got a bit too swollen. It's got too much stuff going on. It made sense a while ago. And of course, now it's still fine. It still functions as a format. But stuff like, say, Affinity is always going to be a thing. And I think I just like the idea of breaking up Eternal formats into smaller chunks so that, 1, you don't have to worry about your collection rotating out, but 2, you could mix it up. You could do different combos that maybe aren't as good enough to be in Modern but are good enough in Frontier like this. And yeah, I just want to give it a go and see if, for once, since I've been playing, a new Eternal format to try and have a go.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, like, more formats the better. My main concern is that it's another format for people to commit to. We're already seeing a low turnout in Standard this summer, but if you've got Frontier, Modern, and Standard, it might just hurt all formats in general. But for me, it's all good because it means it gives value to some of my collection that's currently just rotated out of Standard not long ago, and it isn't strong enough for Modern. So for me,
a prime example for that.
Yeah, I should be quite pushing Frontier really, but I'm concerned that it will divide the player base too much, that it'd be hard to fire a decent FNM.
I don't think it's ever going to be well, not ever, but I don't think in a year or two even it's probably ever going to be a thing that you're going to run to F&M or it's going to have a small scale event you pay sensible money for. I'm entirely seeing it as a casual format, but in the same way that if someone was going to say, like, oh, do you want to have a Proxy Legacy game, I would totally be up for that as a casual tournament, just to see what it's like. And at the moment, I know that it's a casual format. I know it's going to take a few years for it to kick off. But again, as I said, it is a matter of time. People are, it's never going to be a thing. I don't really understand how they've got that line of reasoning, because literally the exact same thing happened with Modern. All it needs is a big enough base and time frame, and it will become a format that is popular.
I think the difference with Modern is that Wizards support it. You need Wizards support Frontier for it to become a problem.
That's just formats, isn't it?
I see some debate that it's going to have to happen anyway, because otherwise, as you said, Modern will get too big and clunky, and you have to have a cut-off point and have a new Eternal format.
Yeah, I mean, Wizards might support it again for several years, I imagine. But if we have this conversation in 5 years' time, as long as it's profitable for them, of course they're going to support it.
Look at Commander.
Exactly. Yeah, look at Commander. But last of all, just to finish off, the other deck I found was a mono black Frontier deck that is based around Eldrazi. The list I found for it ran Reaver Drone, which was that 1 mana black guy that's devoid and 2/1, and had it punishes you for 1 life if you don't have another colourless creature. A cheap, bigger guy, but you need to have other colourless creatures. I don't really like him. I thought I'd go for Sludge Crawler instead. That black one mana guy was a 1/1, but you can pump him. It's got like ingesting stuff. But basically, the point of the deck seems to be similar to the Smuggler's Copter deck. You run loads of Eldrazi, loads of colourless creatures. You've got Hambat Walker as well. I've put in Scrappy Scrounger in my list. You also obviously got Thoughtless here. You've got the removal like Fatal Push, Murderous Cut, Special Contortion, that kind of thing. And then it runs Smuggler's Copter, but also, like the other Smuggler's Copters list, Ghostfire Blade. So that was a big deal before we had Soul Artifact. It was a big deal before you had Morph creatures. So of course, other lists were great because you go Smuggler's Copter, in Soul, or just crew it, whatever. Put on Ghostfire Blade, it's cool. But with this, I quite like it because it's got good removal because it's black. The other ones are sort of blue-red and it's a bit awkward. But with this, of course, you can put your Ghostfire Blades on your, it's got like Endless Ones, or you put it in your Hambat Walkers or your Mastery Shakers and stuff. And of course, it's got Reality Smashers as well. And given the kind of utility land access as well, because it runs like Blighted Fen, it's got Painlands, it's got Mirror Pool, it's got Ruinsmore and Reef, it's got 3 Seagate Wreckages, it's got one of my favourites, which was Tomb of the Spirit Dragon, which was 2 tap, life each colourless creature. That was super good. I think this is probably what I'm going to go towards, and this is literally the deck I was going to play this evening, but I think I'm going to try and tweak it a bit more. But I'm also not going to give up on the Tempest list, because that is super fun to play against, but I just don't know if it's consistent enough.
Now, that Tomb of the Spirit Dragon is pretty sweet. I remember playing against Simon, actually, when he had his mono blue Eldrazi list, or whatever it was. Standard. It's pretty much the same thing with like Ghostfire Blade, but like in blue for Sky Spawner and Drowner of Hope as well.
Drowner of Hope was in there, yeah.
You could probably
and the Flicker Eldrazi, the little 2/1 Flicker guy. I don't know why he was in there. He's just an aggressive flyer.
You could probably make it blue-black at no real cost for Drowner of Hope, because Drowner of Hope, like against aggro, mirrors, whatever, just tapping down stuff.
True.
Guess what was in that deck? 4 Reality Smashers. Reality Smasher is awesome.
To be fair, adding blue also means you get Dig Through Time, which again is one of those cards.
Oh my god, Dig Through Time. Oh, yes. I want to play Frontier.
This is the thing though. Looking at the meta, I was expecting it to be like half like Rabble Master, half Dig Through Time, just nonsense. But actually, it's not as ubiquitous as you thought it would, as you might think it would be. So yeah, that's a good reason to want to play Frontier to get all these.
Is that because the Spikes aren't playing it yet?
I guess
probably.
This is possibly a reason. I might try and convert this into a blue black list. That's not a bad idea.
I can play Rally the Ancestors again.
Yeah, that's also an option. It's super good as well because you've got more creatures to bring back, so it's even more stable than before.
So is Frontier more at the moment people going, oh, we hate current standard, I want to go back and play old standard?
No.
With larger cards.
All the articles I've found have all been from several months ago when it was the hype for it. So this was far before standard even vaguely became what it is at the moment, or what it was, when you had bannings and stuff. This was mentioned and sort of brewed over way before, people were saying, standard sucks or whatever. And to be fair, as you'll see, it's actually kind of difficult to find up-to-date stuff for Frontier, so I don't think it's to do with that.
Does standard suck at the moment? It seemed quite diverse, yet the Star City game list and stuff.
No, yeah. I obviously now know that, now that Luke showed me those lists, but, go back to Felongar Guardian, Efox Marvel, all that kind of stuff being banned. That's the kind of stuff I'm referring to.
Oh, okay. So hopefully we'll get a bit more interest in standard now.
Yes, given I've got this ridiculous God-Pharoh's gift list. The only thing I was thinking about with that list was obviously how much you die to graveyard hate. Wouldn't be a thing for that deck, it would be a thing obviously for zombies. And I'm trying to think the best way of doing it would probably be ceremonial rejection, just if they play the hook thing, just counter it. Just go really deep, because obviously that would completely take the deck apart, so it's kind of worth being that cautious about it.
That's hilarious.
I like that.
Just play everything off curve just to hold up ceremonious rejection.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. It's fine.
So yeah, that is everything from us for now.
There is one very important thing before we go. I have decided on the pizza offer I'm going to get.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good job.
Basically, it was a choice between getting a small pizza and some garlic bread for $6.99, or getting any size pizza for £9. So I'm getting a very large meat pizza for £9.
Yeah, that sounds like the winner.
A recipe for success.
I like how you're focused during this 1.5-hour podcast, Grant.
Oh yeah. This is my multitasking skills. Any women listen to this podcast say men can't multitask. This is very, very concrete proof that I indeed can.
I am impressed. I would not have known this whole time you were just looking at pizza menus. So that's great.
There was a brief moment when I was looking at Frontier decks as well, and not you linked me. But yeah, the rest of it was mostly pizza focused. But we got there. For those listening to the podcast over this hour or whatever, it's good to know there's a conclusion from the very beginning.
That's a truly beautiful story arc. So yeah, that is everything from us for now. We are on Facebook. Search up Glimmer of Genius to find us on Facebook. You can check out the podcast website, Glimmer of Genius at podbean.com. Check out my YouTube page as well for more Magic the Gathering content. It's Vincent Games. Search me up on YouTube. There's lots more episodes to come. This is episode number 10. I think this is a great double-digit episode. Haven't made a super fuss over this, but it's quite a little milestone.
10, you haven't killed each other yet.
No, that's good. It's something we should all be proud of. So yeah, it's a good little milestone. I'm very happy with how things have gone. So yeah.
Hurry up! I've got to sign up for this Magic Online thing.
Nah.
I need pizza. Pizza.
Awesome. All right then, guys. Take care.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye.
Oh, a dirty cheat.
All those extra.
I didn't know it was so rampant, the cheating and sealed GPs. I'm very upset because sealed is my favourite format. Well, limited is my favourite format. So I'm just because I'm too lazy to build decks. But I don't know. The price of the GPs are so much now, aren't they? I saw a lot of debate about how much they cost. What's the GP Birmingham going to cost?
It's maybe £80. It's not. You don't even get the claim out or something stupid.
Yeah, I think it's around
80 quid if you want the playmat, isn't it?
No, I don't know. It's just again, I don't know about you guys, but it's kind of like I don't know, like a souvenir. Like I don't ever want to go to a GP and not get the playmat.
You see,
That's fair enough.
I'm the other way. I don't mind paying the cheaper price and not getting the playmat. I've got a playmat on my desk here, an Aberdeen restored one, but I think any other playmat I've picked up, I've flogged or it's in a box somewhere. I even take playmats to F&Ms with me.
Yeah.
I'm grimy. Don't bear back my sleeves, I bear back the table.
Okay. Right, with that.
Yeah, so when we start the episode?
Let's start right now. We're already knee deep. I'll just do a little intro.
Do Frontier.
Okay. Cool.
I might rip into you a little bit. I'm not sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Frontier?
Apparently, it's a non-format.
See, the thing is, they said that about Modern as well. The thing is with eternal formats is...
Right, let's save it for the cast. Well, I do this all the time.
Right, I have been
So
recording
Becky's
you
not
this time.
recorded.
No,
Yeah,
I am.
okay.
I am this time. This one time.
Damn
it!
He's going to put it in the show now as well, make me look like an idiot.
Okay, let me just make sure you guys sound okay. 2 seconds.